Welcome, everybody. My name is Giorgio Gaviraghi, and I'm a professor at UFMT, Universidade Federal do Mato Grosso in Brazil. This talk is about Ecumenopolis. Ecumenopolis is a Greek word. Actually, is composed of two words, ecumene, which means world, and polis, which means city. And it means a global city. And we are going to see why and how we can call the first group of settlements in Mars, we can call them Ecumenopolis, and also consider them as a new way of planning an entire planet in this case. So during this century, our society will develop advanced activity from the initial near-Earth operations to actual man occupation of the Moon, Mars, and selected asteroids. This new dimension of space activities will create new technologies, different from each body, and new economies, once an industrial and manufacturing base is established in the new territories. And we consider, of course, the new celestial body our new territories. But how? The possibility to create from scratch an entire planetary society is unique in our history. Past progress in our planet was not planned. Many times the result of international agreements dictated by political reasons. In space, we have the opportunity to avoid past problems and, despite the presence of many different international and private players, to avoid past mistakes. A planned and politically negotiated approach to the future colonization scenario is necessary. And what we have to do? Consider planet development as a holistic enterprise, where every participant contributes within its possibilities to the common cause. In this frame of mind, Ecumenopolis, the global city, may play an important role in implications, optimizing the utilization of local resources, and representing an indispensable planning tool. Yes, Ecumenopolis can be considered a planning tool, a different planning tool for planetary dimensions. What are the goals for the planning system in this case? Develop an integrated planetary planning system. Optimize utilization of local resources. Eliminate unnecessary duplications. Avoid future conflicts between different agencies or organizations. Create a planetary community. Optimize infrastructure plan. Increase efficiency, dealing with many projects, and define common planetary goals. And let's give a quick look at the Martian system. Planet Mars and two satellites, Phobos and Deimos. Planet Mars area is equivalent to the area of our planet Earth. The area, the ground area, the land area, the area not covered by the ocean. So it's really a duplicate of our planet, and it can be considered a sister planet somehow, a second home for humanity. And the two little satellites, which may be where asteroids deflected, are much smaller than our natural satellite Moon, and they are much closer. About Phobos, the bigger one, with a major axis of 26 kilometers, is about 9,300 kilometers from Mars. And Deimos, the smaller one with 16 kilometers, is about 23,000 kilometers. And planet Mars itself, it has a radius of 3,390 kilometers, a surface area of 144 million square kilometers, which is basically the same area of our planet, the same non-ocean cover area of our planet. And mean temperature is minus 63 Celsius, and the gravity is 1/3 that of our planet. Let's look quickly to what we have. What are the projects, the potential projects for going to Mars, for the first manned mission? Up to now, we have only Elon Musk declarations that he would like to send a manned mission to Mars with Starship, which is the name of his rocket, of his missiles. And he is planning to have a city on Mars by the year 2050. These are the only news we have about potential Mars manned missions. And before we enter the planetary type of planning, let's look at what type of stations we may have on Mars or on the Moon. We can start with the outpost. The outpost will represent the first manned presence on planet Mars. It will be basically built on our planet because we still don't have any type of technology for planet Mars, and it will be the home for from 2 to 4 to 10, 12 people, number of crew. It will, of course, expand in a modular way. But let's say that the outpost will still be limited to a limited number of people. The second step will be the base. The base is already is a bigger settlement, let's call it settlement somehow. It's a bigger facility. In this case, it's composed both by above ground and underground buildings and facilities. Above ground, all those activities which are not, let's say, human presence related, huge human presence related, because we have to protect humans from radiation. So humans will be underground to be protected by radiation. So all the hubs, all the offices and some labs will be underground, while above ground we will have facilities like food type of cultivations and mineral processing plants, manufacturing activities, rover vehicle assistance, and so on. And following on, we will have the settlement. The settlement is bigger than the base. It can start with 100 people and it can go on up to 1,000 and 1,000. And later on, it can become a city. So this settlement is the third step of the Mars colonization facilities. What are the design goals of the basic unit? The basic unit, which are both, we can consider basic units a different dimension, the outpost, the base, and the settlements. So facility design and construction system are priorities for a successful development of the land facility. So we will need modular construction system, meaning that they can be expanded, they can be flexible, they can be built in a very simple way. Expansion in all directions. We are talking of a flexible, of a transformable, of an expandable type of facilities. Dimensional flexibility. They can be big or small, depending on their function. Specialized areas. We may have specialized areas for different activities. Let's say we may have a spaceport, which is a separate area, and we may have buildings for agriculture or for mining, for mineral processing. Radiation protection, this is a must, especially where humans are involved. We will have a permanent human presence. We also need to somehow identify the central core. What does it mean? We will have more than one facility, more than one settlement. They don't have to look all the same. They have to have something which differentiates them. They must have a core. They must have, like in the old medieval cities, you have the piazza, which was the main feature of a city. And here the same. Each one must have something which characterize, which is different from the other. so it can be identified. Minimum distance for connectors. This is very important. On Mars, every type of activity has to be connected, and we have to be very compact because it's expensive, it takes time, it takes a lot of activities to increase the dimensions. So dimensions have to be contained. We are talking of a compact type of facility. And of course, it has to guarantee shared sleep environment for all the people involved. And what are the life support systems in human habitat? We need to create the water, the atmosphere, the power. We need also services like healthcare, radiation protection, food, the habitat itself, and fuel. These are the basic life support system with every facility, from the smaller outpost to the biggest settlement, must have, and are part of the design process. What are the initial limitations? The initial limitation, I'm talking about the outpost, which will be built on our planet, is the size, the dimension of the rockets, of our launchers. And as you know, the fairing, which protect the payload, has a limited dimension. It's basically a cylinder with a conical top. It's about 7.68 meters diameter, and it can be up to 10, 15, and 20 meters high. So these are the dimensions which are limiting the possibility to have bigger in the initial outpost age, to have bigger buildings. But of course, once on Mars, we can really expand with different type of technologies, with different type of construction system, which will be planned and designed for the planet Mars. We have the possibility to expand such dimension, to have buildings of many dimensions, and to expand them. Outpost. Here is a quick look at the outpost. The outpost is one building, basically built on our planet. It's the building which is in reality the payload of the first mission rocket, and it can expand to have some inflatable type of facilities for food production or for mineral processing or other effects, connected by a connector, which connect them to the hub itself. The outpost, and again we can see here some type of outpost for a population ranging from 4 to 20 people. This type is for basic survival needs and activities, with only embryonic facilities for mining, mineral processing, and manufacturing, as well as food production. This basic cell is entirely above ground and can be functional even if unmanned. So we are going to build the first outpost after the first missions, but this outpost will grow with every successive mission. This outpost will grow, and you will have more facilities. You will have more functions. It will grow up to become a base, and a base is just it's another much bigger facility. In this case, we are showing some also inflatable type of structure for food production or other activities. And we will have some type of specialized buildings. We will have a surface access unit to perform EVAs, since we will have an underground area, an underground part for the people, and when they have to go out to have to perform EVAs in out of the base, they will need a special building where they can change, they can prepare, they can have the rover vehicle, they can have the arriving materials lab, and so on. This is just one type of building. We did some simulations outpost on Earth. This is the one which we designed but we never built. It was called EuroMars. And this particular Earth simulated outpost was designed in the early 2000, 2001 for Iceland. It was supposed to be built in Iceland, but it was never built actually. Other, of course, are not only built, they are utilized, like the one in Utah and the one in the northern part of Canada.
5 minutes left. Giorgio?
Yes. Inflatable above ground facilities. And here we have again,
It looks like we lost connection with Giorgio. We'll give him a minute to log back on. Hopefully he'll be able to log back on. There he is. Can you unmute, Giorgio? We can't hear you. Giorgio, can you unmute, please? We can't hear you. We'll give Giorgio another moment. It looks like he's having some connectivity issues. Hopefully he'll be able to unfreeze and unmute. Hey, Giorgio, if you can hear me, I need you to please unmute yourself. Your video has been frozen. If you can please unmute yourself. Giorgio, if you can hear me, I need you to unmute yourself in the Zoom call. We cannot hear you. I don't think that Giorgio can hear me, so I apologize that you guys cannot hear him. He might have seen the text message now, perhaps. I can't hear you, Giorgio.
I finished my presentation.
I can hear you now. You were frozen for about the last 4 or 5 minutes. And you were on mute, and so we couldn't hear you. I can't hear you, Giorgio. I'm not sure what happened, but I can't hear you.
I don't know why.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear you now, but I couldn't hear you for about the past 5 minutes.
But did you have the possibility to see the Ecumenopolis image? I don't understand. I have an unmute, so it should be. Wait a minute. No, it's a mute.
You unmuted yourself now, but there's a
See me?
delay.
Okay.
You're unmuted now. You unmuted yourself, so we can hear you now.
And I can transport. Okay, so can you hear me now?
I can.
So you can. I see. I don't see unmuted here. I see it's working. Anyway, the concept is clear. Settlements connected by a transportation network. This is the basic idea of Ecumenopolis on a global basis. So we will have specialized type of settlements like the water producing one, like the food producing, like minerals, particular minerals, and so on. And they all as ready for Q&A.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Giorgio? Some folks did leave the call because you were frozen. We couldn't hear you. So I don't have any questions for you right now. I'll wait a moment to see if anyone has questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat window. I don't have any questions for you right now, Giorgio. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry there was a little bit of a technical issue at the end, but it was just at the very end, so the folks that are on heard most of your presentation. You have about 2 more minutes. Is there anything you would like to add?
Okay, thank you, Carrie, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you so much, Giorgio.